Mhm. Okay, lying on our backs in Shavasana. Let your body drop. Notice where and how you contact the earth, the floor beneath you. Notice your energy, your mood. Notice what you notice. We'll start our movement inquiry very simply with a little nod of the head yes. So keeping the head heavy on the ground, we just slide the back of the head to bring chin toward the chest without lifting the head, and then lift the chin away from the chest, sliding along the back of the head. And just go back and forth a few times. It can be a quite small movement. It can grow larger. Notice if there's movement happening through the chest and the ribs. No need to restrain that, just be aware of it. You can maybe even feel it all the way down into the pelvis, the little pelvic nod response. Make sure your teeth are parted. So the jaw is relatively relaxed. And then let the head come back to center and stillness. Open the arms out to a T, palms facing up. We're going to move either toward eagle arms or a hold of the elbows. So arms can stretch up toward the ceiling, and then one arm underneath the other, either holding the elbows or arms wrapping around each other. And the elbows are at about shoulder height here. You can stretch the elbows a little more up toward the ceiling, or if you've got a grip on the elbows, yeah, it's still the elbows reaching up toward the ceiling. If you're in eagle, the arms can press into each other. And then add just a little head nod, maybe not as big as it was before, but still this nod yes. Or maybe nod a couple times and then keep the chin down toward the chest. So it's down and slightly in. It's a little Jalandhara Bandha, chin seal. Keep stretching elbows up, up, up toward the ceiling. And then let the head come back to neutral. Open the arms out to a T. And then second side. So if you're holding the elbows, it's the other arm on the bottom, on the top. And if you're an eagle, make sure you're on your second side here. Elbows are at the height of the shoulders. reaching up toward the ceiling. Just a couple times, nodding, small nod, yes, with your head. And then you can stay in the Jalandhara Bandha shape, chin down, slightly inward toward the notch at the base of the throat. Keep reaching elbows up. Breathe into the back. Let the head come back to neutral and the arms come down to the ground, doesn't matter where. Now we'll interlace the hands underneath the head at the bottom of the skull and plant the left foot. Arms are heavy. Keep the shoulders down, head down, elbows down. Rock to the inner edge of the left foot and move the knee across the midline any amount, and then back to center. If you're running into pain or pinchiness, go smaller, go slower. And if the movement feels comfortable, push the inner edge of the foot into the ground, launch the knee away from you, and squeeze the left glute in the process. You can also root the left arm a little more actively as the knee moves away from it. Adding a side bend, side scrub. So keep doing what you're doing with your left leg and take a side bend to the left, sliding your upper body along the ground to bring left elbow toward left foot. Sliding back to center when the leg comes back to vertical. Flowing in and out. Go slow. More time on this side. Once you're back to center, be sure your hands are at the bottom of the skull. Slide the left leg straight. Plant the right foot. Rock to the inner edge of the right foot. Bringing the knee across the midline and down away from you toward the left foot and then back to center. Make it smaller, make it slower if you're running into pain. Push the inner edge of the foot into the ground. Squeeze the right glute. That's going to help to protect the back. Notice if this side's different. adding the side bend when you feel ready. So we're side bending to the right, sliding the right elbow down toward right foot without lifting the head or the arms. And then back to center. Once more on this side. At the end of that one, then release your arms down, slide the leg out straight, drop into Shavasana. And just pause and be. Okay, so legs can stay straight here, or you can plant the feet if you would rather. Let's stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. Hands join in prayer, and the arms are at shoulder height. We're keeping the arms straight here and the hands together just like they are. So no bending the elbows and no one hand running past the other for this movement, okay? So we're restricting it on purpose. Keep the arms straight, keep the palms together, and shift the arms over to one side. So if you shift the arms to the right, say, then the left shoulder comes up off the ground, and then back to center, and then take it to the other side. Don't let the elbows bend. I mean, repeating it, I know you're probably like, you just said that, but I say it and then the elbows bend because you can get a lot further. We're not trying to do that. So just see if you can stay within that kind of limited range of motion. Arms go one way, and now let's turn the head the opposite way. You can turn your head just a little bit and also turn your eyeballs to look down, kind of toward the floor, underneath the shoulder area. Moving with intention. It's easy to just kind of go flippity floppity with these simple movements. Really move with intention and control and awareness. About one more time each side. And then when you're back to center, put your hands at the bottom of your skull again. So elbows are wide here. let's plant the feet now, feet about hips width apart. With your inhalation, find a little back bend in your spine and press the arm bones down into the ground, and then exhale, curl up. Shoulder blades peel up off the ground. Follow your breath, expanding the front on the inhale. Squeeze the elbows together with the exhale. Adding that yes nod that we started with. So when you inhale and arch your back, you kind of slide your sacrum toward the head and lift the chin away from the chest. And then exhale, root through the back, tuck the chin in toward the notch at the base of the throat. Couple more times. When you lower the head this time, keep it down. Let's open the arms out to a T. And take the feet wider than the hips. Windshield wiper legs side to side. Go slow. Here's another one where we can just kind of flail around and get it done. Or we can really embody the movement. So the outer leg is dropping all the way down. If you let it, usually that'll happen. Shoulders staying rooted. And you can work that more engaged movement from that inner leg. So pushing off the inner edge of the foot, driving the knee away from you, squeezing that glute. Let's rotate the head opposite the legs. Okay, once you're back to center, let's cross the left thigh on top of the right, so knees are bent. Right foot is on the ground, and there's no or as little space as you can manage between the thighs, so we're not in this figure four shape. We're gonna close it up a bit more. Okay, we're gonna rock to the inner edge of the right foot. Left leg is on top, legs go to the left, right shoulder stays down, and then back up to center. You can use your abdominals to bring the legs back up. Couple more times and then we'll add on. So as the legs go to the left, rotate head to the right. Once you're back to center, keep the legs as they are. Left leg is on top of right. Arms reach up toward the ceiling, just like they were before. So arms are straight, palms are connected. We're gonna keep that shape and lower the legs one way and arms opposite. This might feel awkward. You might be like, well, I have to bend my elbow or I'm not getting anywhere. Well, don't. Just be okay with not going so far. Or maybe start the arms first and then allow the legs to drop opposite. And add the rotation of the head. So head and arms go to the left. Sorry, head and legs go to the left. Arms go to the right. Once you're back to center, release the arms down and switch the cross of the legs. Arms heavy, arms, shoulders down. So right leg is on top, so the legs drop to the right. We rock to the inner edge of the left foot. Go slow. You can use your abdominals. Engage to bring the legs back to center. Rotate the head opposite the legs. Pause next time the legs are vertical. Bringing the arms up, arms straight, palms are connected. Legs go right, arms go left. And then everything comes back to center. You can start the arms a little before the legs. Head and legs going right, arms go left. Tracking sensation. And once you're back to center, unpack all the way into the full release of Shavasana. Notice what you notice. And now roll onto your belly. You can stack your hands, head down, take a moment to just land here. Tuck your toes under. Drive your heels away from you. Press the front of the pelvis down. Squeeze your buttock muscles. Draw lower belly away from the floor. And then take hold of your elbows. Elbows at least somewhat in front of the shoulders, at least an inch. Press the forearms down. Lift up. So head up, chest up, shoulders down the back. Gaze is down. Lower down. You can just leave the arms as they are if you like. Okay, one more round, same thing. If you want, you can just switch which arm is closer to you. Just tiny variation there. Toes are tucked. Drive through the heels. Really squeeze glutes here. Root the pelvis down. And rise up. Draw the lower belly toward the back body to stabilize through the back. Move the shoulders down away from the ears. Lower down, maybe stacking hands now, forehead down, untuck the toes. Let's stretch the left arm straight ahead of you with the palm down. The fingers are pointing forward. You can keep your head down and just lift your right leg. So we're not lifting the right hip. Hips are staying down. Can you kind of pin that right hip, front of the right hip into the ground and lift the right leg. Leg is straight. And there's lift, but also a reaching back energy. Head is down, mine's just up so I can be heard. So reaching, lifting. You can try lifting a little more from the inner thigh and see how that feels. Squeezing the glutes would be helpful here. We're in extension of the hip. Lower the leg down. Now we'll lift the left arm, the head, the chest, and the right leg all together. If it's too much, you can keep the left hand down. But if it's available, we lift the head, lift the foot up, the hand up, press down with your right forearm. Make sure the shoulder's not crowding the ear. So right shoulder down the back. Feel this line, this lengthening, this diagonal. Really reach the arm forward. Really reach the leg back. Lower down, just keep this shape. Okay, one more time, and option to vary it so it's more of a Dhanurasana half bow element. So we'll start the same way. You can lift the leg, lift the head, lift the chest, lift the arm, really sink the pubic bone into the ground. And then bring the left arm back alongside the body, bend the right knee. Maybe they're nowhere near each other. Maybe you reach for the foot, press the pubic bone down, push the foot back into the hand as you pull it in. Carefully release all the way down to prone shavasana, hands stacked. Can shimmy the hips a little side to side. And then come back to stillness. Head down on the left hand, right arm stretching straight forward, or you go a little wider if the shoulder doesn't like that. So head is down, arms are down, hips are down, and we lift the left leg. Leg is straight. Lift and reach the leg away from you. And squeeze the glutes. Try lifting a little more from the inner thigh so that outer hip dials down a little bit. Lower the leg down. Okay, repeat lifting the leg. Maybe also lifting head, chest, right arm. Could keep the right hand down for a little more stability. We're pressing the left forearm down. Make sure the left shoulder blade's down away from the ear and really go for not just lift, but length. Lower down. Okay, last round. Maybe it's just the leg. Maybe it's where we just were. Lift the leg, lift the head, lift the chest, lift the right arm, stay here, or bring the right arm back behind you. You could even stay there. Bend the left knee, you could stay there, or reach back for the foot. Really press the left forearm down. Draw the foot in, but also push it back into the hand. Hello, quad. Right foot is pushing down too. Carefully release. Stack the hands. Rest the head. Can shift the hips a little side to side, loose and free. Bring your forehead down to the ground so you can stretch both arms forward, superhero style. Palms are down. Tuck your toes under. Reach back through your heels. Squeeze your glutes. Pubic bone pressing down, down, down. And then let's start with the hands down and lift head and chest up. Gaze is down, so back of the neck is long. If you want, you can lift the arms away from the ground. Lower down. Stack the hands again. Rest the head. Now we'll keep the head down, the arms down, and lift both legs. Lift from the inner thighs, legs straight, legs reach back, glutes active. Try bending the knees and pushing the feet up. Release feet, legs down. And then back to our symmetrical Sphinx variation. Take hold of the elbows. So first thing we did here, prone, toes tuck under, strong active legs. Root down through the forearms. Try drawing the low belly away from the floor toward the back body. And this time, as you lower down, tuck an arm underneath you and roll onto your back. We just did a lot of strengthening for the posterior chain, for the back. So just notice how it feels. Maybe the lumbar spine releases a little bit closer to the floor. Notice your breath. Notice your energy. Usually strong back body is kind of aligned with more energy, right? It's holding us up. Okay, and then we'll plant the feet. One more round of our spinal undulation. Sometimes this just feels good and is helpful after strengthening the back. So hands to the base of the skull. Gonna inhale, press the arms down. You can minimize the back bend if it feels like enough's enough. And then exhale, curl in. We're gonna stay up and tack side to side. You could experiment with more of a neutral pelvis, so keeping a little space between lower spine and the floor. Try just a tiny little offset rather than a big across the midline. Maybe even like a little semicircle action. So you go to one side and then kind of circle up around to the other side. And then back to center, lower down. Release your arms, release your legs, release your whole body. Bend the knees, roll to your side, and make your way into child's pose. Let's add a little side bend here. Arms stretch forward, and then hands walk over to one side. Stretch that inner arm a little further away from you. Or I guess it's outer arm. And reach the hip in the opposite direction. You'll know, you'll feel it. Through center, arms stretch forward and then walk over to the other side. Arm and hip reach opposite each other. Make your way back to center. And then bring your knees in so they're about hip width apart. If you're in that wider child, let your arms and your head be heavy. Bring your awareness to the base of your spine and see if you can roll to come up to sit on your heels. So try to really puff through the lower spine, the mid spine, the head is heavy, the arms are heavy. Eventually, the chest rises, the shoulders drop, and the head rises. And just pause here at the top for a moment and place your hands on your thighs. Brush your spine with breath. Okay, and then grab your mat if you've been working on a carpet, or remove your blanket if you have that on top of your mat. And we will arrive next in downward facing dog. Take your time, try not to just jump right in, really attending to your hands, your shoulders, your spine. No sinking into the chest here. Head is heavy. Okay, let's take small steps forward. You can sweep the arms if you like, or bring hands to the hips, rising up to stand in Tadasana mountain pose. Just pause here at the top. Feel your feet. Sense your body and your breath. We're going to do a little bit of standing asana work here. You might want your blocks handy. I always like to have them, and then if I don't want them, I don't use them. But if I do, they're there. I don't have to scramble to get them later. So I've got them at the top of the mat in the high setting. I'm going to start with pyramid and then move on to revolved triangle here. So let's start with the left foot forward. Take a pretty decent size step back with the right foot, and the orientation is forward. So you want to make sure your right hip isn't back relative to your left hip. So there's this scissoring action of the hips that's really helpful. Okay, and then let's have arms alongside the ears here. So reaching up, keeping the arms alongside the ears. We'll fold just halfway. Be really strong with the legs here. Reaching forward through the arms, forward through the chest, back through the hips. Push the feet into the floor to rise up, all the way up. So head staying in line with the arms. Again. Draw the abdominals toward the back. That will help stabilize. So you're lifting more from your abdominals and your back, rising up. A few more times. Long line of energy from roots to fingertips, root to crown and on to fingertips. Try not to let the arms drop down relative to the head. I mean, I know your shoulders might prohibit that. You just do what you can. Just be aware. You might be doing it, you don't know it. Okay, this next time we fold forward, we're going to pause halfway, just like we have been. And then keep the spine and the head where it is for a moment and just bring the hands down. So we have this long line of energy. You're not rounding at all here. See if you can kind of reconfirm that scissoring action. So imagine you could drag your left foot back and see really see, like, what does that feel like in my hips if I drag my left foot back without moving it? Let's keep the head in line with the rest of the spine and see if there's any availability to continue hinging. So not dropping the head and rounding the upper back. Hinge, hinge, hinge as much as you can. Maybe the blocks go on a lower setting. And then I'm going to stay where you are. So particularly if you've got forward head posture, kyphosis, don't drop the head, don't round the back at all. But depending on where you are, maybe, if you want, you can just let the head go. So I'm not completely collapsing through the shoulders. There's still a drawing of the shoulder blades toward the spine, and the chest is staying open. Okay, let's come up about halfway so you can return to maybe higher setting on the blocks. And then bring hands to your hips and rise up. We're staying on this side for a revolved triangle. So recommit to square hips, to dragging this front foot back. Now we'll stretch just the right arm up toward the ceiling. You can have left hand on the hip, or I like it on the sacrum here. Same action we've just done several times. We're hinging just until the spine is parallel to the floor. Gaze is down, head is in line with the spine, and then bring your right hand to the block. If you can bring it to the one outside the left foot, it's a little harder to balance, but then easier to twist. So we're not turning the hips at all. The rotation comes through the belly, through the ribs, then on up through the shoulder, maybe extending up through the arm. You can keep your gaze down, that's going to help with balance. You can push your right hand down to help fuel up the rotation, but rotation really coming from center. So draw the abdominals in, draw in and up with the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, and maybe rotate a little further. Unwind your spine. Rise to stand. Step your back foot forward. Just pause here in mountain. Notice the right side of your body and the left side and your midline. Okay, second side. Might want to flip the blocks back to their highest setting. Right foot forward. Pretty decent size step back with the left foot. We want the left heel down. Hips are squared. Dragging this right foot back without moving it for that scissoring action. Really feel how that creates something in your hips. Arms up alongside the ears. Your exhale, just fold halfway down. Go slow. Head staying in line with the arms. Arms are staying in line with the head. Rising up. I'm going to do this a few times. Just go slow. Find your own rhythm here. Hips reach back, especially outer right hip, drawing back as you reach forward through the arms. Could bend right knee if you need to, if it's helpful for getting back up. That's it, a couple more times. Just be aware when you come forward, your arms dropping down. So it might be a shoulder limitation, or it could just be something you're not aware you're doing. One more time here, we'll fold forward halfway, pause when you get there. Keep your head in line with your spine, bring your hands down, so almost like lifting my back skull up toward the ceiling a little bit. And then keep folding, but just from the hip hinge. This could take several breaths. Then maybe allowing the head to go. But if you've got forward head posture or kyphosis, rounded shoulders, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't drop the head at all. And keep your chest open either way. So there's a slight gathering, a little bit of retraction of the shoulder blades. Okay, hands to the hips, rising up. Make sure your back heel is down. You can step the back foot in a little more if it isn't. Check in as my left hip drifted back. Bring it forward, scissoring. So front foot dragging back foot dragging forward. Neither of them actually moving. Left arm stretching up toward the ceiling. You could have right hand on the hip or right hand on the sacrum. Keep pulling this right hip back, especially as you come forward. We're pausing and stopping at halfway and then just bringing left hand down. So if you bring the hand down and it can't reach the block, bring the block to the higher setting rather than compromising your alignment. Okay, the hips aren't moving. Unless you've got SI stuff going on, we're going to try to keep stable here. And turn through the belly, through the ribs. You can press your left hand down. That will help the rotation, as will Mula Bandha, in and up with the pelvic floor, and drawing the abdominals back, toward your back, maybe extending through the arm. Gaze down will be good for balance, and maybe nice for the neck too. People also lose balance by losing the rooting of their front big toe. You really want that one pressing down. Unwind your spine. You can grab a block. Standing up, back foot forward, mountain pose. We're going to put a block between the inner thighs and our mountain. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we could think about squeezing the block from the inner thighs. Let's instead think about squeezing the block from the outer femurs. So outer thigh bones drawing in. It's more of a brain thing. From here, stretch your arms forward and reach them forward. Palms face each other. Coming into Utkatasana, let your hips go down, and as they do, let your torso come forward. So we're not trying to stay upright and getting this big arch in the back. It's more like a thunderbolt. And then arms can stay where they are. Keep reaching them forward. Maybe arms come up alongside the ears. That's it. Keep squeezing the block from your outer thigh bones. Slowly root to rise. Release your arms down. Both blocks at the top of the mat, highest setting. We're doing 1 round of warrior 3. So we'll start with the left foot. We'll start with standing, just a little bit back behind the blocks. Let's stretch the arms up alongside the ears. You can bend the knees here or not. We're hinging at the hips, folding halfway. Okay, and then keep the head where it is. Bring the hands down. They should be right beneath the shoulders. So I'm in this like 90-degree shape. You can walk your feet back a little more if you need to. And then check in with the bottom of the rib cage. Draw it back and engage your abdominals here. So it's not, the back doesn't have to do everything. You can draw the abdominals at the navel, right and left of the navel, above and below the navel. Basically that whole abdominal wall, below the ribs, above the pelvis, drawing in toward the back body. Okay, transferring weight into right leg. Make sure the right toes are spread, the right foot's pointing forward. We're going to keep the hips still and stretch the left leg back. And we're trying to approach parallel to the floor. We want to squeeze the glute. Could think about dialing your rooted foot outward, like you could turn it out like ballet. Draw the right outer hip back. And then stretch the right arm forward. So left leg is back, right arm is forward, gaze is down. Squeezing left glute, reaching back through the leg. Bring the hand down, bring the foot down. Take a breath. Draw the abdominals below the ribs, above the pelvis, all in toward the back body. So really firm there. Slide the right leg back. Go slow here so the hips stay level. More important to have level hips than a high leg. Squeeze the glutes, the right glute active. Reach back through the leg. Stretch the left arm forward. Reaching, just like we did, right? We did this on our belly. One leg back, other arm forward. Reaching from center forward and back. Bring the hands down. Bring the foot down. Separate the feet shoulder width or even mat width. And if it's available, we're going to use probably both blocks, maybe even something else to support the head. Definitely bend the knees here if you feel like that's helpful. Don't need straight legs. Some of you might like to hold your outer ankles. You can have fingertips on the ground, wide, forward. Might have to adjust and readjust the blocks so there's no crease in the back of the neck. Even here, I'm not just dropping the shoulders. There's a little retraction, so a little bit of shoulder blades toward the spine. Slow, steady breath, especially long exhale here. Sense like the head is draining out of the neck. Okay, from here, set the blocks aside. And let's touch into down dog one more time. Push the floor away. Hands are screwing into the floor away from each other. Feel what that does in your shoulders. Lower your knees to the ground. And we'll sit in Virasana if that works for you. You can sit a different way if it doesn't. Just for a little bit. You can close your eyes if you like. This is it. We're just stopping and being here in the river of breath. Open your eyes gently. If you practice shoulder stand, Sarvangasana and Halasana plow, we're going to work on that now. You could instead do legs up the wall or calves on a chair. It could be an easy seat, easy chair. It could be your couch. You could do a supported bridge. I'm going to do a shoulder stand and plow today. So I'm a huge fan of using the blankets. Our world is becoming one of forward head posture, and so this is going to help counteract rather than kind of confirm that, in my humble opinion. So we definitely don't want the neck flat on the floor. So if you like coming into shoulder stand without blankets and your neck is pressing into the floor, not such a great idea here for the long term. So we use the blankets. So there's this space between the neck and the floor. And if you're going to end up with coming into Halasana, a plow pose, you want to make sure you can have your legs overhead without running into a wall or coffee table or whatever's in your practice zone. Okay, so we're working on tucking the knees in toward the chest and then bringing the legs overhead. I like to come into plow first to set my shoulders. I tuck shoulder blades toward the spine. I want upper arm bones parallel to each other. Hands coming to the back. You can kind of lean your pelvis toward your hands and walk your hands up your back. So this brings the hips higher. And then from here, we'll bring one leg up and then the other as well. So we really want to press the pinky side of your hand in. And you could have a hip hinge if you want. Have a hip hinge and your feet more kind of over or even a little behind your head. Or you can work on being more vertical. Either way, we're pressing the upper arm bones and the elbows down, down, down to help lift the hips up rather than just letting the weight of the hips drop into the hands. That's what we're working toward anyway, in my opinion. Gaze is down. Breathing into the back, breathing to the sides, breathing into the chest. If neck is flat, pressing into the ground, I strongly recommend coming down and adding a blanket. Some people practice legs relaxed. I don't. I squeeze my glutes, I reach my legs actively up toward the ceiling. So you're actually lighter when you're engaging your muscles. And if and when you're ready, we're coming back into halasana. Legs lowering overhead. And if the feet do not touch the ground, keep your hands supporting your back hip area. If they do, you could try clasping your hands. Tuck your shoulders underneath you a little bit more. And legs are active here in my practice anyway, so we're pressing the thighs up. You can have your toes tucked under, push to the heels, or tops of the feet pressing down. And if your neck is flat, pressing into the ground, you're doing neck stand, not ideal. It's worth reiterating because if you do it over and over again, you can really cause some damage. And then when you're ready, you can have your hands supporting on the floor or on your hips and try to lower down with control without a big thump. Hips come down, then feet come down. You might be able to just kind of shimmy your way into a low bridge. So a little shimmy combo with the hips lifting and the blanket, pushing the blanket down. So it's just underneath your pelvis, not your lower back. It's like a little mini bridge, depending on how thick your blanket setup was. Feet planted. Let's let the arms rest on the ground, but up, like just kind of relaxed, casual around the head. Notice sensation. Notice energy moving through you. And now you can scoot the blankets down a little more so your pelvis comes down to the ground. Maybe just give the blankets a little roll or a little fold if you'd like to keep them underneath your thighs or knees for Shavasana. Make whatever adjustments you need to make so you feel comfortable, and then just drop into complete stillness. Breath breathing you. Resting, resting in awareness. Come back into the river of breath. Feel your body on the earth, the floor beneath you. If and when you are ready, you can gently and gradually make your way up to a seat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to all beings everywhere. Thank you.